Brexit. What is Plan B?
With regard to the backstop, despite the changes we have previously agreed, there remain two core issues: the fear that we could be trapped in it permanently, and concerns over its potential impact on our union if Northern Ireland is treated differently from the rest of the UK. So I will be talking further this week to colleagues, including in the DUP, to consider how we might meet our obligations to the people of Northern Ireland and Ireland in a way that can command the greatest possible support in the House.
Well, it's rather similar to Plan A, which was for the deal Theresa May has negotiated with the EU to be agreed by Parliament before the 29th of March. And there's a reason for that. Will Smith explains it best.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a Plan B because it distracts from Plan A.
Basically, because Theresa May believes in her deal and has spent so long negotiating it with the EU, she's not willing to completely rip it up. But she will make small changes. Firstly, EU citizens will no longer have to pay to work in the UK. She wants to change the Irish backstop to make it temporary or make sure we're not stuck in a customs union.
It is government's responsibility to negotiate, but it is also my responsibility to listen to the legitimate concerns of colleagues, both those who voted leave and who voted remain, in shaping our negotiating mandate for our future partnership with the EU. So the government will consult this House on its negotiating mandate to ensure that members have the chance to make their views known and that we harness the knowledge of all select committees across the full range of expertise needed for this next phase of negotiations, from security to trade.
She's looking to make reassurances on the future trade relationship the UK will have, but she wants to uphold the will of the people. That means no second referendum and no revoking Article 50.
First, there is widespread concern about the possibility of the UK leaving without a deal. And there are those on both sides of the House who want the government to rule this out. But we need to be honest with the British people about what that means. The right way to rule out no deal is for this House to approve a deal with the European Union. That is what this government is seeking to achieve. The only other guaranteed way to avoid a no-deal Brexit is to revoke Article 50, which would mean staying in the EU. There are others who think that what we need is more time, so they say we should extend Article 50 to give longer for Parliament to debate how we should leave and what a deal should look like. This is not ruling out no deal, but simply deferring the point of decision. And the EU are very unlikely simply to agree to extend Article 50 without a plan for how we are going to approve a deal.
She doesn't want a customs union either, so that the UK can trade with nations outside of that customs union. The only way to rule out a no deal, she says, is by supporting a deal. The whole point in the statement she was making was to give MPs a neutral motion to add amendments to be voted on by the 29th of January. May herself is really just looking to appeal to the Tories and the DUP to be able to get a majority in support of her deal without breaking up her own political party.
Before there can be any positive discussions about the way forward, the government must remove clearly, once and for all, the prospect of the catastrophe of a no-deal Brexit from the EU and all the chaos that would come as a result of that.
But the motion itself means that opposition parties can make amendments. Most of Parliament is against hard Brexit and in favour of a softer form of Brexit. That keeps Britain in a customs union or a single market, unlike Theresa May's deal. Labour want a permanent customs union with the EU, and legislation to have a second referendum is a proposal that's been put forward so far, along with attempts to rule out a no deal, which will delay Brexit until the 31st of December. Dominic Grieve's amendment was to have Parliament debate on all the options for Brexit. Stella Creasy wanted a citizens' assembly, which would be a 250 member sample of the population to make recommendations for the Prime Minister. None of these amendments would be legally binding on the government except Yvette Cooper's amendment, which requires the government to extend Article 50 until the 31st of December. So basically, Plan B is to have a big debate on Plan A and change it. The B stands for backstabbing and boring because the process will take ages and cause a lot of upset. It's definitely not B for Brexit. But do you agree with me? Join in the debate below and subscribe.